Hey everybody, Sam Kouvaris in the Nimnicht Chevrolet Video Sports Update. Jaguars fall to 4-11 with a loss to the Titans where they controlled the game in the first half and then something happened, and this happens to teams with not a lot of experience, not a lot of depth, and not a lot of veteran leadership where the momentum starts going in the other direction and they can't do anything about it. 4 plays in the third quarter. The Jaguars did get an interception and 3 points out of that, but still, when things started going in the wrong direction, they could not right the ship and make things happen. Defensively, they let the Titans run the ball 44 times, too many explosive plays. Offensively, they couldn't muster enough drives to keep their defense off the field and convert third downs, score touchdowns, and even a blocked extra point. So a lot of the same themes that we've talked about in the other 10 losses this year rear their ugly head again in the 11th loss. But it was interesting in the locker room and also interesting to hear Gus Bradley talk about the difference between this team in week 1 and now here in week 16, how much growth they've made and what their expectations are. Now it's a question of execution. I talked to Jonathan Cyprian after the game and said, were you not communicating in the defensive backfield, and is that why Nate Washington was so wide open? He said, no, we had the right call. Everybody knew what their job was. We just didn't execute it. And sometimes, if it's an error of a physical error, it's just sometimes that happens. It's a shame, though, that when it happens, it turns into a touchdown, and what I thought was the back-breaking touchdown for the Jaguars. They finish the regular season next week in Indianapolis. It'll be interesting to see how many players continue to play hard, because most teams use the final 4 games of the year when they're not going to the playoffs to kind of get an idea of what they need to do in the offseason and what they need to do going forward. I think the Jaguars already know that. They already know their needs, and they're certainly plenty. So we'll see how they play and who ends up playing, because many injured players are still not available and won't be available for Indianapolis. On the flip side of that, the Colts have won a division. They're going to be the 3rd seed in the AFC playoffs, so it really doesn't matter whether they win or lose. They may not play Andrew Luck or any of their starters in that game in order to give them a rest and an opportunity to prepare for the wild card game coming up in 2 weeks. The Jaguars, though, have a lot of work to do, and that's one of the things that they showed in the game against Tennessee. 2 things. They played hard, they play hard, and they got a long way to go. Those are the 2 things that we learned about the Jaguars once again. It should be I tell you what, it should be an exciting offseason. And to a man, the players, the guys who are in there, would all like to be back next year. Most of them won't be. But these guys believe in Gus Bradley and what they're doing. So it'll be exciting if and when they ever start winning. I'm Sam Kouvaris, and that's the Nimnicht Chevrolet Video Sports Update.